What's something you've seen that you can't unsee? The video of Nick Berg's death. I watched it when I was 24 because I wanted to see if I was as desensitized to real-life violence as the media, at the time, claimed people of my generation were. Well, I found out very quickly that I was not desensitized. And I have had nightmares about it ever since. A dog eating a man's entire genitalias while two men hold his legs apart. My brother passed away at the beginning of the year and his dog was trapped inside the house for 3 days. There was blood everywhere. It was like viscera cleanup but worse. I can't drink that shit away. I took care of the job so our parents would not see the details. I don't wish that scene upon anyone. My uncle blew his head off with a shotgun. Family was too broke to hire people to handle the scene. My other uncle and dad had to clean it up. I can't fucking imagine having to wipe your brother's brain of the wall. Edit. This is my biggest comment by far. I will respond to the comments after I board my flight. My friend had to moped a dead body. A drowned friend of hers. All the way to the hospital like an hour away. This was after a lot of CPR and the ambulance still being over an hour away. Literally hugging the body between her and the driver. Completely messed her up for like a year. Can't imagine cleaning brains of a loved one. A woman's face after it had been ripped off by a chimpanzee. 3 guys 1 hammer. Fucking terrible video. Human beings. NSFW posts I found on Reddit expecting porn but found someone a face being trashed from a car accident or something. My toe hanging off my foot by a blood vein. My mother dying of brain cancer in a hospital bed. Death pro tip. People gasp as they die. Loudly. It's about the worst thing you'll ever hear. Don't skimp on heavy doses of morphine when it starts. Yup. Held my dad's hand in the hospital when he passed. It was like a long, maybe 10 to 15 second, felt like much longer, exhale when there already wasn't air in his lungs. And then afterwards his skin was very white and yellow. The discoloration happened so fast. It was awful and traumatizing. But I'm glad he didn't have to be alone. I saw a person having a heart attack, or some heart condition. And also saw how quickly his skin color started to change. Although from my memory I think he was turning grayish. Then his pulse returned. Shortly after ambulance that was called came and took him away to hospital. Mentally delirious foster father pointing a gun at me. Edit. Yeah, I'm fine. He died from cancer a month after that. And didn't have a good relationship with him to begin with. It was just that sign of absolute betrayal that someone who I'm trying to help in his old age is now holding a loaded revolver in my face because I offered to take him to his doctor's appointment. Not as much seen as it was heard. But there's a video of a family driving. And a brick flies off the back of a dump truck and smashes the woman in the front passenger seat in the face and all you hear are screams from the rest of the family. There was no gore in that video. Just the horrid sounds. I don't remember the name of the website. But it was about how much you can take starting from level 1 and each page got worse. I stopped when I saw a video of a man cutting off his own penis. When I was 10 or 11 I saw that PETA video of an ermine, mink, fox. It was some little furry creature with a longish snout, being skinned alive. Its whole body was basically degloved. At the end, they tossed the still living creature into a trash pile of other half-dead skinned animals. And it was crying and trying to move. It fucked me up so bad to see that at such a young age. I'm still absolutely horrified. The image will never leave me. Didn't really see it, per se, but that phone call to the police while a pet chimpanzee starts to rip apart her friend's face will always haunt me. Rotten. Com hosted a picture way back in the day of a guy without a helmet who had fallen off of his motorcycle face first. Everything from his nose down was gone. His tongue was just kind of hanging there. Lower mandible was totally destroyed. He was very much alive, conscious, and looking directly into the camera. His eyes were the worst part. The genuine terror expressed in those eyes is something I will never ever forget. My Labrador has a habit of blowing himself in the front yard, so there's that. A old man tripped in front of bus, then his wife tries to help him. She tripped over him and went under the tire of the bus, and the bus driver didn't see her, then kept driving. Whole body pop, old man survived and saw everything. Opening parenthesis. That video of a dude breaking a glass cup in his asshole and the shards spilling out with bleeding and stuff. My dad's junk accidentally popping out of his PJ pants when I was a kid. Sometimes that image pops in my head when we hang out. Traumatizing. This dude one time sent me a photo of his cut-up penis. He was shaming himself for having a small dick, and he took a ruler, held it up to his dick, then carved lines all on his penis for every tick mark on the ruler. This lady walking a kid across the street, but she basically got him run over by a cab. I saw his leg break, I mean like visibly break like a twig, and she makes him walk and try and walk it off. Kid was maybe 7. I called 911, she tried to kinda get away. There's more to this, but the seeing the leg snap on a lil kid like that both made me fkn angry and sad in an instant. There's one more story. I still don't want to believe it, but I legit saw a nurse grab a newborn's penis and pull it hard, making the baby cry. I heard later there was a nurse brought up on charges for abuse. I'd fucking smash her face if I saw her now. I don't forget the look. A lot of shit from my job. And a video of a guy being screwed by a horse. It went as well as you can imagine. I saw a video on some shock site, Bestgore, where a man put a small firework up his ass and lighted it. Oh god, the blood was everywhere. The Facebook post from my ex, proclaiming how wonderful her 3rd-year anniversary dinner was with her fiancé. The official mark of the beginning of their relationship apparently predates the day she dumped me from our 7-year relationship by 5 weeks. When I was 11, a video of a Chechen soldier getting his head sawed off with a Bowie knife did the rounds on our phones. His grimace was the worst. His terrified eyes squeeze shut as the blade is jammed in behind his windpipe. Then his facial muscles all contract with pain as the guy just saws his fucking head off. I spent a fortnight holding my neck and clenching my jaw to my breastbone. But the absolute worst for me was a video of a train platform. The camera shows just beyond the ledge down onto the tracks a baby, APRX. 9 months old, crawling around the track. Pav from a bystander looking at it crawling innocently around, grasping stones and shuffling its tiny feet over the steel track. From left frame, a massive train slowly rolls in and the baby's head just crumbles under the wheel. The blood-curdling screams of the mother and other bystanders just made me wish I was a straight-laced A+ student who wasn't morbidly curious. Fucked me up. Former volunteer firefighter. Currently a paramedic. First witnessed death on Christmas morning when I was 16, as a junior firefighter, 2 mangled bodies in a Camaro that hit a tree doing 100+ mph. I was 17. A man hanging from a tree in his driveway having set his house on fire. Christmas night. I was 19. Driving up on a 64-year-old male, who was reported to have fallen and hurt his leg laying in a pool of his own blood just before he went into cardiac arrest. Also the blood that poured of the bed as I rolled the bed into the ambulance. The cat of the patient at the first cardiac arrest I attended with the ambulance service. It watched with only vague interest and had markings that made it look like Hitler. I don't remember the man. The first birth I attended. That was nice. The aftermath of a man who committed suicide by train. It was half a mile of pieces. He literally left a shit stain on the tracks at point of impact. His shoes, socks and feet were all separated. Every hanging. I've been relatively lucky and not been to as many. They're the worst. Too many gross feet. There could be another section on unforgettable smells. Despite this, I enjoy my job. These are not the majority of the work. Some nice ones. The moment I first met my wife. We met working at a summer camp. She had a big grin on her face when she stepped out of the van. When I proposed in a patch of clover in Budapest. Standing in front of family and friends on our wedding day. The birth of my son. The Facebook Messenger conversation between my now ex-wife and a guy she knew discussing how they were going to stage an abduction and assault. The conversation went down to how it had to look like he kidnapped both of them. That our son wouldn't go with willingly, so they had to drug him. And how she had tested drugging me with the name of the drug that she had in her possession. That also explained my 24-hour flu that came randomly out of nowhere the previous weekend. Kinda lighthearted compared to the other stuff I'm reading, but at a restaurant I went into the bathroom and a guy was in there just blowing it up. I typically have an iron stomach, but it was borderline dry heave time. After he was done, he got up, went and looked in the mirror, wiped his face off and proceeded to leave. No flush or hand washing. Stall door was open, so I saw that massacre he calls a shit. It was everywhere but in the toilet. On the way out I saw him just chilling at his table like he didn't just spread hot tar in there. A group chat of my fiancé's friends, including some I considered close friends of mine, talking about how I am just the absolute worst piece of shit in the world and how it was my fault he was suicidal. This happening the morning after the absolute worst, heartbreaking fight we'd ever had, and I had no choice but to call the hotline and police because I was scared for him. Saw a woman blow a horse's dick and the horse just nutted all over the woman's face. And Jesus Christ, I never knew horse semen was that much gallons. I vomited after my friend showed it to me. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button. See you next time.